Welcome back to Chaos Corner, here on Guardian of Chaos, the YouTube channel. I do apologize to you guys and gals that are coming back here for part 2 of my live to tape watch along for WrestleMania 2. If you go back and you check out the first 30 minutes here of part 1 of WrestleMania 2. As I said, I'm trying to do and cover and watch alongs for every WrestleMania leading into 2024, April of 2024. We're only 5 weeks away from WrestleMania 40. But go back and watch this first part. As you can see at the end, I'm blatantly interrupted by the owner of Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling, the head trainer of Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling, and then once I get up into the executive offices, I have the other 2 trainers up there. So that's right, the Paradise 4 is here on Chaos Corner as I do a live to tape watch along for WrestleMania 2. It's an extravaganza, as I always say, a bonanza. So Pretty Paul Roma, Mario Mancini, Mr. Paul Perez, and Big Dave Paradise, a.k.a. Big Steve Tracy, are all here at Chaos headquarters. They're up there relaxing right now. Coffee, tea, a couple of egg white omelets are being served. So I'm back down here in the bunker. I will continue with my live to tape watch along. Hopefully they don't come back down here because we're going to do a late lunch, maybe, we're thinking. We have a lot of things to talk about in Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling. 4 guys that worked under the guidance of the WWF and WCW. That's what you get at Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling. Mario Mancini, the owner, in the WWF from 84 to 92. Debuted everybody from The Undertaker to the Hart Foundation to Ted Arcidi to Ted DiBiase to Demolition and everyone you can think in between. He was their debut match. One of the best jobbers in the history of pro wrestling and now current owner of Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling. And of course, our head trainer. 4 Horsemen, Power and Glory, Pretty Wonderful, Young Stallions. He's been in WrestleMania, I've already said it. And that would be Pretty Paul Roma. And then one of our other co-trainers, second generation grappler, was trained professional wrestling-wise by his mother and father in his basement as a young teenager, 12, 13, 14 years old. Second generation grappler in the WWF in the late 80s and early 90s. Like I said, Mr. Paul Perez. And then there's the big man. Former bounty hunter, bail enforcement agent, trained under the guidance and tutelage of Dr. D. David Schultz, as where I did some of my work. And that would be the owner of the Rib House. The best ribs in the state. In the greater New England tri-state northeast area, in the shadows of Titan Towers, and that would be Big Steve Tracy, a.k.a. Big Dave Paradise, and the Rib House. Go online, Google it, duck, go it, as I say. So they're all here, as we just came out of an unbelievable TV taping and house show at the facility this past Saturday night. I love wrestling, I heart wrestling, sold out. Jammed to the capacity, jammed to the rafters. And when I say that, and you go to the training videos here on the station, or you go to some of the live events, remember it's a TV taping, TV studio wrestling, where we jam in 100 fans, a standing room only, 120 fans into our dojo, our training facility, once a month, twice a month, like a territory system here in the greater New England tri-state northeast area. Back to the old days, old school. You want to learn how to be a pro wrestler? You want to learn how to be a young man, a young woman, morals, respects, values, how to treat people, how to respect people? You come down to Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling on all social media platforms. Check it out. And again, credibility. And go out and check out. That makes sense. The Mario Mancini Show, which is on Cheap Heat Productions with our old buddy Maurice Shortle and Jack Kilby, the commissioner or the CEO of Great North Wrestling, GNW. Mario Mancini Show, I believe he's on at least once a month on Cheap Heat Productions. And then, of course, the new show that has just hit the airwaves, coming up on their 3rd episode. Hey, Roma! I'm not calling him downstairs. That's the name of the podcast. And his co-host is Mario Mancini, my former podcast partner back in the day for Mario Chaos and the Kid, and then the Mario and Chaos show on TV and radio. Well, how about that? Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Let that marinate. How about that? So you know that we are live to tape 25 feet below the surface of the earth. Wait a minute, as we're here in silence. I'm live, but I'm taping it at the same time. What a pickle. What a dilemma. Fuck it. You guys get the idea. You're here. Like, subscribe, say something, leave a comment, get us into the algorithm, interact with the G.O.C., become a member, leave me a tip. Although there's no paywalls, Patreon, Snapchat, all that bullshit. What you see is what you get. One man, unique, unedited, unscripted, raw dog for you, the fans. All right. I know we're on part 2. This is probably going to end up being a 3-parter for WrestleMania 2. But when the Paradise 4 show up, you pay attention. You pause to watch along. We're here on Wednesday morning. What the fuck are they doing here anyway? Bum rushing Chaos headquarters. I got a full changer on. I feel like Roman's former partner, Hercules Hernandez. You know my career over 25 years, wrapped up in chains. So let's get back to it. We already saw on part 1, we saw Macho Man Randy Savage defend his Intercontinental Championship against George the Animal Steele. We also witnessed on the first part here, we saw, what was the other bout that we did see on here? We got Piper and T coming up in a boxing match. I already talked about, that's right, we saw the Battle of the Badasses, Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff and the magnificent Don Morocco with Mr. Fuji. So that was on part 1. Here is part 2. Let's get right back into it. School is in session. We're only 7 minutes in. Alexa, play Tropical Thunderstorm sounds for my fans. All right, let's get back into it. Let's see where we're going. Alexa, are you listening to me? Alexa, play Tropical Thunderstorm sounds. Why do I got to fight with this bitch? Why? I know. Scared of rats off cheesecake, make onions cry. I get it. Honey Mentholyptus. All right, let's get back into it. Let's get back into WrestleMania 2. As we know, we started off here in the Chicago Rosemont Horizon. They go to the Nassau Coliseum and the LA Sports Arena, April 7th, 1986. Here we go. We're back in the saddle again. Giddy up, little doggy. We're going to saddle up and mosey on down to the K-Rail, yeah. That's what you get. You get entertainment on here, not just pro wrestling. All right, here we go. You got to look at my head again because, again, everything is down here at the bottom because it's the old school setup of where all the controllers are down here at the bottom. We get into, as I was rudely interrupted, although you know I love it, Bill Fralick, former Atlanta Falcon, All-Pro, Hall of Famer, going face-to-face with Big John Studd because, as we know, the NFL players in WrestleMania 2 challenge the WWF superstars. Now we see Susan St. James and Vince Jr. lounging there and on site talking about what's going to happen. And as we did yesterday, we will fast forward through some of these parts. Otherwise, we're going to be here for 2 days. Let's see what we have coming up next. Again, thank God the lighting's a little bit better today than it was yesterday. Okay, so here we go. This will be the special open invitational 20-man over-the-top battle royal. I'll try to call all the action. Special guest referees from the Dallas Cowboys, the legend and Hall of Famer Ed Too Tall Jones, and of course Chicago, the Bears linebacker and Hall of Famer Dick Butkus. Kick back and relax. As I said, let's get right back into it. Grab a snack, grab a beverage, grab something, grab your old lady. I don't know. Here we go, and it's not the Battle Royal. Again, I'll refer to you what I say on all these podcasts, all these shows, because they are TV shows, reality shows, episodic adventure here on Guardian of Chaos, the YouTube channel. It's not the NFL Battle Royal against the WWF superstars. It's Jake the Snake Roberts coming through the crowd. with Damien against George Wells. So this ought to be an interesting matchup. You see with the 14, 15 matchups back in the day of the big pay-per-views, kind of like what AEW does in 2024. They throw in a lot of filler matches. You have your prelims, you have your mid-card, you have your main events. And here we go. Wells starts off fast and Jake tries to attack him. Throws him far side. Up and over. Big back body drop by George Wells on Jake the Snake. Wells hitting him with rights and lefts. Snake swinging wildly, but grabs control. Grabs a ball George Wells by the trunks and tosses him outside the ring. And now both men are outside the ring, exchanging rights and lefts. Wells dumps the Snake back into the ring. Jake with those short right hands. Far side. Roberts. Jump over. Saying he's too smart, but Wells went to the opposite side. Huge shoulder block from George Wells, who I believe was a former NFL player. Now, Gorilla Monsoon is on the broadcast along with yours truly. At least I believe he is. We don't want any copyright strikes. I don't own any of the footage, the music, the sound. It's Chaos Corner. It's me. Irish whip to the corner. In goes Jake Roberts. Roberts in big trouble. Who knew George Wells would jump on him so fast? Opposite side. Another beautiful toss. A flying head scissors by George Wells, the big man, who goes every bit of about 275 pounds. Beautiful flying head scissors by Wells. Jake Roberts is in big trouble in this match. Who knew at this stage of their careers that Wells would give Roberts such a run for his money? Big body slam by Wells. Picks him up like he's a 100-pounder. And Snake is, 6'6"? Probably 230 pounds here himself, 240. Right to the jaw and drops Jake like a bad habit. Wells being a little slow, a little methodical here. Big knee lift, and over goes Jake the Snake Roberts. Somersaults over, and his top of his legs are on the top rope. Wells with a boot to the cranium, to the dome piece, if you will, taking his time here. I don't know if I would do that with George Wells. You better get on him, Wells. The chains are killing me today. Big power slam off the rope. Power slam by Wells. Here's the cover one. It wasn't an almost three, Junior. Shut your hole. It was a 2 count. George Wells doing very well for himself, making a great appearance here on WrestleMania 2. Like the tape watch along with the G.O.C. That's me. Go back and check out part 1. It was about 30 minutes before I was interrupted by the Paradise 4, who are still here lurking about upstairs, probably having a late breakfast, I'm assuming. These chains are heavy. Both men back in the ring. Big knee lift by Jake the Snake Roberts as he caught Wells trying to come in. That's the old school way. Circle the ring, the 2 grapplers. You slide in first. The second guy comes in. Bang. You got him. You jump on him. And if you don't do that, you're an ass for not doing it. That's no ring awareness. Oh, Jake with the beautiful DDT. Bang. Out of nowhere. Down goes Wells. Here's the cover. There's the 3. Tute for Nute. George Wells is persona non grata. And here comes Damien. Here comes the fucking Snake. Huge 23-footer. And I've had that Snake thrown on me before. You know the story. I wasn't happy about it. It was Yokozuna and Jake the Snake Roberts. As I was with Jim the Anvil Neidhart and Julio Sanchez De Niro. Look at the size of Jake Snake. It's got to be a 23-footer. He's wrapping it around George Wells, who's in the middle of the ring, barely conscious. He's tying him up and looking like he's making him into a pretzel of figure 8. Wells is going to get choked out by the Snake. And this was why Jake was so dangerous. Not only those short punches, short clotheslines, that unbelievable DDT, he had the fucking Snake at ringside. And I apologize for the cussing. I don't have to. I do apologize. It just comes out. Look, he's foaming at the mouth. Wells is foaming at the mouth as the Snake is trying to squeeze the life out of him. So there's your winner. We're still at the Chicago Rosemont Horizon. This is the 3rd bout from the Rosemont before we switch over. Again, Morocco and Orndorff was a countout, I believe. Macho Man retained over George the Animal Steel, the Intercontinental Championship, with his foot on the ropes. And now Jake with the DDT over George Wells with Damien. Those are your first 3 bouts. And we had an appearance by the Paradise 4. So let's see. You're going to have to bear witness to the Chrome Dome. Don't say anything silly. You drop an elbow on that like button. Let's fast forward through this. The snake. Unbelievable. All right, I take a look at the head. It's not freshly shaved, but it's still... What do you think? They say TV cameras put an extra 10 pounds on you. Might have put 25 on me. I was in the gym training hard yesterday. It wasn't easy. All right, let's see. Let's see what we got here, fans. Stand by. Stand by. We're going to fast forward here. WrestleMania 2. Let's see who's up next. Let's see who's up next. Don't go anywhere. Chaos Corner, live to tape watch along for WrestleMania 2. And as I said, leading into WrestleMania 40, I'm going to do as many watch alongs as I possibly can until we get into WrestleMania 40. I'll take you back to history. All right, here we go. We're right back into the ring. It's the boxing matchup between Mr. T, the former tough guy, Chicago bouncer on the A-team, against the legend Rowdy Roddy Piper. Here we go. I'm not sure who the referee is. If you guys remember correctly, this is the spillover, the long-term storytelling between Roddy Piper and Mr. T. Back to war to settle the score, brawl to settle it all. And, of course, WrestleMania 1. They're showing highlights here before Piper gets in the ring. From the first boxing match that they had, we know that Ace is very heavily involved. There's Lou Duva, the legendary boxing promoter and trainer that's taping up Roddy Piper, who we know has a pugilist background before he got into pro wrestling. Mr. T, you guys know his background, his friendship with Hulk Hogan, a Chicago tough man, bouncer, so on and so forth. Rocky movies, he's really done it all. The boys weren't too happy when T came in and didn't really play along and get along and know his spot and his place. But again, this is the carryover from 85, 84, 85, if you want to count the MTV stuff. As I said, I'm repeating. That's what I do. I constantly repeat. War to settle the score, brawl to settle it all. Unbelievable. That started the Rock and Wrestling. Cyndi Lauper, Captain Lou Albano, which led into the main event of WrestleMania 1. Like I said, Snuka, Orndorff, Hogan, Piper, Mr. T, Bob Orton. We are backstage now here at WrestleMania 2. Jesse the Body Ventura in all his splendor, wearing the red feathered boa, the fedora, with Hulk Hogan saying, "You know what, Ventura? I don't really care what you think." The typical yellow and red. They're interviewing Hogan backstage. We know this is how you build it up, how you do it throughout the show. This is what they did back in the WWF. Say what you want about the cartoon era, cartoon gimmicks, but this is what happened. And Hogan, for the day, no matter what you say current day, there was nobody that put asses in the seats like this man. That's why he's on my Mount Rushmore. Not for so much for what he just did in the ring. That's another category. But for what he did for the business. For me, it's Bruno Sammartino. It's Ric Flair. It's Hulk Hogan. It's Dusty Rhodes. That's my Mount Rushmore of professional wrestlers. And if you had a second four, there's plenty of guys that would belong there. Everyone from Harley Race to Andre the Giant to the Magnificent Morocco. The list goes on and on of guys that I would consider on that second Mount Rushmore. Back up to the fake ringside. You can't hear it. You can hear me. Enjoy the sounds. The weather isn't the greatest here today in this area, in the shadows of Titan Towers. But then we're supposed to get into the 60s for several days. It's baseball spring training. We are on the way. Now Fink is introducing Joan Rivers. Rest in peace, Joan. We don't know why you made that a comment about Michelle, Michael, whatever his name is. I don't want to get political. I don't want to be a theorist. I'm just throwing out the information as I know. You can research it yourself. Go to DuckDuckGo, or whatever search engine you use, and you can find out and see her last interview and what was said and what following and the medical procedure afterwards and what people aspire and conspire. That's on you, man. It's another show for another time. But there she is, the lovely, vivacious, and funny Joan Rivers. Special guest judge for this next bout, Dr. Dunkaroo, the slam dunker, Daryl Dawkins. Do you remember Daryl Dawkins? He was one bad NBA player, shattered a couple of backboards. Now, Joan Rivers is bringing in Daryl Dawkins into the ring as one of the special guest judges. Let's see. Again, remember something about WrestleMania. This is all about the pageantry and how Vince changed everything and went from traditional Jim Crockett, NWA, AWA territories. I talk about it all the time, from Florida, Mid-Atlantic to Georgia, deep South, Mid-South, so on and so forth. Another guest judge, the great Cab Calloway, Minnie the Moocher. Yeah, Cab Calloway, another guest judge. So we'll go through some of the entertainment part, but this is what kind of was a double-edged sword that helped the business and ruined the business. Just my personal opinion, because it made it great, and then it turned it into comics. Another guest judge, the great G. Gordon Liddy, is there at WrestleMania 2. Now, this has got to be the judging coming up, I'm thinking, for the T and Piper boxing match. This is what I'm thinking. You would think I never saw this before. This is the first time I've ever seen it. But we're going through and reviewing it. And here's the next guest judge. The guest timekeeper is Herb. Little light in the loafers out there, Herb, dancing around. And the guy with the glasses, he's the guest timekeeper. Just Herb. Joan Rivers getting ready to announce it's time for the main event. Now, that's the main event at the Rosemont Horizon. Remember, 3 different shows, one night, the concept. Nassau Coliseum, LA Sports Arena, Chicago Horizon. And that's where we are right now, the Chicago Rosemont Horizon. For the first half of this live to tape watch along. This is the main event here. So stand by. We're introducing the particulars. You heard the unbelievable celebrities and notables that are the guest judges. Daryl Dawkins, G. Gordon Liddy, Herb, the timekeeper. Does it get much better than that? So this is the main event. Let me take a break here. Stand with me. We're only 22 minutes in, and here comes Lou Duva. Now, Duva's got to be with Roddy Piper. You know Piper, he was in the movie Ready to Rumble. He was in the movie It or Thing or whatever it was called. The unbelievable grappler. Not so much an actor, but just one of the best to ever do it. As a heel, as a face, Piper's Pit. No one upset the world more in the middle 80s than Roddy Piper and his crew. Nobody. He was the one, and just as important as Hulk Hogan to that whole scene. And everybody seems to forget that. If it wasn't for Piper being the perfect heel and then having his shenanigans with Cowboy Bob Orton, the Ace, and so on and so forth, it wouldn't have went over. Throwing the people on the fringe that were involved. It wasn't just Hogan and Piper. It was Mr. T and Snuka and Orndorff and Orton. Just remember that. If there was no Piper, there would have been perhaps not the way it turned out for Hogan. Remember that. And now here comes Mr. T with Smoking Joe Frazier, who has been involved in pro wrestling before, the late great Joe. He was involved in Starrcade as a special guest referee in one of the major bouts, one of the title championship bouts. I believe it might have been with Dusty Rhodes and Flair, or maybe Flair and Harley Race, one of those. My mind's like a lazy Susan. It'll come back around. I'm as confused as a baby at Hooters, but I'm certainly as busy as a blow-up doll at a frat party. Remember that. I have so many sources, I have to outsource my sources. You notice I caught a little spittle right there like I did yesterday, right? Well, come on. You sit down, you do 2-3 shows in one day, an hour a pop. So here we go. Orton in his corner, the Ace, no cast on the left forearm. So it's Orton and Piper and Lou Duva wearing the traditional Glasgow, Scotland colors of the plaid, the red, the green. And Mr. T, looking in great shape, was always in great shape. Say what you want about him. The red gloves, the red trunks, boxing gloves on. I believe these are, can't be 12 ounces. They got to be the 14 ounces. Maybe they're 12 ounces, maybe 16. So here we go. Jack Lutz is the referee. All the preliminaries are here in the middle of the ring. Let's see what happens here. We don't want to screw up any of the volume. See what happens. I know. Piper, Mr. T, the main event from the Rosemont Horizon, WrestleMania 2 as we go forward to flashback. Here we go. A lot of heat here, a lot of instruction. And again, it's not what you would traditionally think about in these celebrities or athletes, entertainers, boxing matches that aren't traditional pro boxers in that sense of the term. Although Piper, like I said, does have the experience. You guys know that. Does have the experience, right? Mr. T has experience, but not so much as a boxer. And here we go. Here's the bell. Round 1. T is the southpaw, obviously. Piper, the righty, throwing out the jabs, throwing out the jabs, throwing out the jabs. Trying to connect very fast. Both men moving around. T definitely covering up. Got the basics down. Here's a couple of flurries to the breadbasket of Piper. Piper trying to snap that jab out there. More tying up more than anything. Both men have been tying up on the ropes. The ref's going to have a tough time here at WrestleMania 2. The main event at the Rosemont Horizon. We're just getting started here. We have a long way to go. From here, we're going to go to Nassau. From Nassau, we're going to Los Angeles. We're going to go travel around from pillar to post and coast to coast here at Chaos Corner. Piper has T up against the ropes, throwing those body shots. A couple of weak jabs to the jib, if you will, of Mr. T. Lutz is separated. Both men are back now in the corners. Lutz given the warning. 2 minutes left in round 1. WrestleMania 2, live to tape watch along. Here we go, back and forth. Susan St. James, Vince McMahon Jr., and yours truly on the commentary. T trying to throw the punches. Piper with the lightning jabs. The roundhouse by T. Coming with the left. Trying to come with the uppercut. Piper, oh, whoa, the chain. Really throwing him at him. Minute 27 left in round 1. Let me get the change back on here, guys. Nice. Ducking, shucking, jiving, Mr. T. Piper missing with a bunch. Now getting caught with a couple of right-hand jabs from T. A couple of lefts to the side of the ribs. Piper, nice reversal. T has Piper on the ropes. T seemed to come back a little bit here as Piper started off hot. Boxing. I went to a wrestling match and a boxing match broke out. Less than a minute left in round 1. Piper just trying to keep that jab and keep T as a distance, who's the shorter of the two. Piper with a nice left-right combination, throwing a couple of, and T coming right back with the right-left. T going more to the body, Piper more to the head. Both men tied up now in a corner. You know this is going to be hug-a-thug, right? They break up quickly, and now T, like a bull, pushing Piper back into the ropes, using his head more than anything with the mohawk. Oh, Piper with a nice right to the top of the dome of Mr. T. Let's see what happens here. Oh, geez, we're spilling coffee, tea, everything down here. I know I got to get too close, and you guys go, whoa, we get so close, whoa. Now Piper's holding T by the back of the head and getting the rights into the abdomen. Jack Lotz is beside himself. He's in between both guys. He's really trying to break it up here. There's the bell. Round 1 seemed to go pretty slow there. Look, and all the seconds are coming in. Piper and T are in the corner. They don't want to break it up. They're still trying to throw punches. It's a Donnybrook. It's a Pier 6 brawl. Joe Frazier has gotten in between. Is Frazier and Duva going to go at it? Frazier and Duva have a history when Frazier was a fighter. So there's Frazier talking to T, rubbing his shoulders, giving his water. The cut man is there. T has, along with Joe Frazier, 2 other cornermen. Let's go over to the other corner. Piper's got Orton in the corner. He's got Lou Duva. Now Piper's over in Mr. T's corner. The ref is trying to get him back. There's Lou Duva and Ace. Trying to dip that mouthpiece in water. Give him a little water. Give him a little Gatorade. Give him something. And they're massaging away on Mr. T in the corner. Would you rather have? Smoking Joe Frazier or Lou Duva in your corner? It's up to you. There's the bell. Round 2, WrestleMania 2. Chicago Rosemont Horizon, live to tape watch along with the G.O.C. here on Guardian of Chaos, the YouTube channel. Leave a comment. Say something. Here we go. Again, Lotz is pushing Piper back into the corner. Well, what they got? Too much Vaseline? They're saying there's too much grease or oil or Vaseline on Piper's forehead and eyes, and they're trying to wipe it off. And Lou Duva's giving him the what for? Now he's over there wiping the gloves of Mr. T. Let's a condensation, sweat, Vaseline. All right, here we go. Back in. T, Mr. Piper. WrestleMania T. T just trying to push him back. Throwing a couple lefts, rights to the body. We know T is the southpaw. Piper coming back with some quick jabs, some lefts, some rights. Not really getting through, hitting the arms and the gloves of Mr. T, but a couple to the breadbasket. One on the top of the head. I'm not sure if that's legal. One big right, and then T comes back. Really a lot of action in here. Not a lot of major blows being connected, though. They're throwing the punches. That's how your arms get weary. As a former boxer who made it to the Gold Glove finals as a young man. Didn't win the Gold Glove. Both my brothers in their divisions won the Gold Glove in their divisions back when we were young boys. Me personally, I made it to the finals. Went down to one knee. Lost the bout. I still have the trophy, though. 1970, 71, thereabouts. And, of course, went on to stay with it for a little bit, as well as mixed martial arts, weight training. I've done it all. Still trying to do it at the big 6-0. Oh, Piper with a big right out of nowhere. Another right, but T's got the gloves up. Give T pulling the Muhammad Ali. Give him credit for covering up. Using the elbows to cover the body, going with it, covering his head. Oh, and a big uppercut gets through by Piper. Oh, and on the side of the ear, as I said yesterday about Andre getting hit. And there it is. T's down. Mr. T goes down. You get hit in your ear or on your temple and screw up your equilibrium. Doesn't matter who you are, how big you are. You can't block that or protect that. That's not a muscle you're going to really work on. You're out for the count or you're down. T is still down as Piper should let lots count. What the fuck are you doing? It could have been a 10 count already. This is what I don't understand. And this is a reality. This is a shoot on that one, even in real life. Piper in the opposite corner. 8, and Mr. T's back up on the 8 count. T's back up on the 8 count. He's on Queer Street. He's reeling. He's ducking. He's back on his heels. Google it. Now, the duck, duck, go it. You know what it means. Back into the corner. Piper's trying to get on him. 15 seconds left in round 2. Piper's trying to throw a couple of flurries. And T doing a smart thing. Tying him up. Getting him in the ropes. But again, Piper holding the back of the head and laying in the right hands. Not necessarily boxing. Misses with the left. Don't say it because I said it. And then down. It looks like Piper pushed him down face first. Mr. T is on his knees on the canvas again. And Piper with a shot to the back after the bell. All the corners are in again. All the seconds are in again. T's in big trouble being helped back to the corner. Listen, whether this is predetermined or not, they're getting there performing physically. This is what I always say about it. T being attended to by Smokin' Joe and his crew. Smokin' Joe is legitimately pissed off at what just happened. Say what you want about being predetermined. It's entertainment. I fucking get it. You think I was born yesterday? I know what I'm talking about. Cowboy Orton out of nowhere with a big bucket of water and douses the opposite corner, Smokin' Joe and Mr. T, and now the ring's all wet. The fuck is going on here at WrestleMania 2? The physicality, the getting in there, the cardio, the taking the punches, the taking the blows, whether you're doing it half speed, full speed, making it look real, doing it snug, laying them in there. You guys don't get it yet, do you? Get down to a training facility. Come on down to Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling. Go to the videotapes, and I challenge you to come get in the fucking ring. Sign that waiver and get in the ring, and I'll show you what it's all about. Back for round 3. Piper coming out fast. T with a couple of lefts to the breadbasket. This match is going back and forth. A lot of tie-ups, a lot of sloppiness, a lot of, not technical boxing by any means, but both men trying. Both men are athletes. Both men have the background. WrestleMania 2, Rosemont Horizon, the main event. Now T has Piper in the corner and he's beating him down. Piper's going all the way down almost to the bottom of the ring, trying to pull himself up on the ropes. He's where the turnbuckle would be. Oh, and T with a left to the jib. A couple of more lefts and rights, and he's pounding Piper into oblivion. Piper slouched down in the corner on his ass. Lots is trying to break up Mr. T and get him in the opposite corner so he can start the 10 count. What are you doing, T? Another dummy. What are you doing? You want to win? You want to lose? What is it here? Lots is up to 5 on Piper. Piper's still in the corner. Piper trying to get to his feet. He's up at 6 or 7. You want to say 8? I'll say potato, tomato. Where are you now, Mr. Billionaire? That's good shit, pal. Where are you now? At least I have my freedom. In this country, who knows? That's another story for another time, but you know what I'm talking about if you're paying attention. Round 3, a minute and a half left. Both men back to the middle of the squared circle. Changing blows. Nothing's really getting through. There's no real impact blows. A couple to the body. Once or twice they'll get through and connect on 1 out of 4 to the dome piece. Piper's in big trouble back in the corner. Mr. T pushing him back, really using his strength. And a big left, and he catches Piper, and down goes Piper again. And Piper actually rolls out of the ring to the floor. And there's Cowboy Bob Orton. There's less than 50 seconds left in round 3. T in the opposite quarter. Orton's outside of the ring on the ground. They're dousing him with water, Lou Duva and Bob Orton. Crawling back in through the middle rope is Roddy Piper. He makes it back in. How many seconds are left? The bell's got to be ringing. He's got his hands up saying, I'm okay. We got less than 30 seconds. T's in the far corner. Lots is shaking him up. Said, let's go. We're 23 seconds in. 20 seconds by the time they throw the first punch. And again, T backing Piper into that same corner. Weak punches. Both men are gassed and spent, and their arms must feel like they weigh 100 pounds trying to throw punches right now, especially with the physicality of the bodies up against each other. So they're in close. This is like fighting in a telephone booth. I've done that before. Just you and a couple other guys, and you can't move. They're still tied up, and there's the bell. Here's the end of round 3. Both men spent beyond belief. Exhausted. If you've ever been in a competition like this, you know what I'm talking about. Listen to that. You can't hear the fans because we certainly don't want any copyright strikes. So all you can hear is my golden smog, if you will. There's the ring girl holding up a golden glove. It's always got to be about TNA. Can't you keep that afternoon delight? You know what I'm talking about, right? The night's going to be there anyway, right? Why do it on a cold, dark night when you can do it in a brighter light? Afternoon delight. Do-do-do-do-do. Duck, duck, go it. Here we go. I believe it's round 4. Oh, wait. Piper's bringing out the stool, and he throws the stool at Mr. T. The corner stool, and it hits T in the legs. What the fuck is going on here? This should be an automatic disqualification. It's round 4. What are we doing? Letting everything go? Both men in the corner. Oh, and a big right by Piper. And T with a big right of his own. Standing there in the middle of the ring, back and forth like they would in AEW when they bitch slap each other and go back and forth. You got to hit them with the short jabs, the short hooks. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm telling you. Back and forth. Piper. Throwing 2 or 3 now, connected to the head of T. Some of these are getting through. Some of them are getting in. T's trying to defend himself, and now he's getting the better of Piper. Both men absorbing blows from the neck up. Not full force blows, but they are connecting, even if it's 40%, 60%. Oh, and a big right to the jawline by Piper. And Piper holds on to him, and I don't know if it's legal. And then bang, it gives you that extra leverage. And now T coming back with some lefts of his own. Beautiful, beautiful body shots by Mr. T. Piper is definitely out on his feet. But then he comes out of nowhere and then just starts throwing those rapid-fire rabbit punches that Piper does. And then he pushes the referee down, and he picks up T and body slams him in the middle of the ring. It's a fucking boxing match, not a wrestling match. And then he tackles Mr. T. The referee latches out. And now they're on the ground. It's a scrum. It's a rugby match. All the seconds are in the ring. Even a Haiti kid. Somebody get him out of there. Lou Duva and Joe Frazier. Frazier's going to body slam Lou Duva. Orton throwing everybody around like a rag doll. What the fuck is going on here? I apologize for the cussing. I'm out of my mind. Roma, Mancini, Perez, Big D. Where the fuck are you? Holy, but Jesus, holy cramoli. I literally have cloned myself to sit beside myself. It's a brawl. It's a Donnybrook, as I said. I feel like I'm down with the longshoremen down at the harbor. And they're raising T's hands. I don't know how that happens. And Piper jumps in from behind. There's at least 40 people in the ring. It's chaos. Wow. Here's disqualification. Mr. T wins by a disqualification in the 4th round. The referee has disqualified Roddy Piper. Your victory in the fourth round, Mr. T, in this boxing match, live main event from Rosemont Horizon, the watch along on WrestleMania 2 with the G.O.C. I got to settle down here for a little bit. We're 40 minutes in. Excuse me, pardon me. Much love and respect for everyone hanging with me. This is part 2 of WrestleMania 2. So we're going to definitely go to a part 3. So again, I hope you guys appreciate and understand. Instead of doing one long 3-hour continuous, we'll make it shorter. We'll do them in 30-minute segments, an hour and 15 minutes. And if the whole WrestleMania show that I am covering that day, we'll break it up so you guys have more content, something to watch. That's what you get here as a member, live to tape. Nobody else is doing this concept. And besides the IWC, just who I am and my character and my history and who I am as a person. So before we get out of here, we have the late, great Gorilla Monsoon in the middle of the ring right now at the Rosemont Horizon, WrestleMania 2, and he's with Mean Gene Okerlund. Legends. Does it get any better than this? This is what you got at WrestleMania 2. This is the golden era. This is the golden age. And I believe they're getting ready to introduce the 20-man over-the-top battle royal between the NFL and the WWF superstars. I'm not sure if there was a ladies' bout here. I have the cover. It's around somewhere. You guys know me. The chains are falling off. Everything's falling off here. I don't know whether I'm coming or going, but I know that we're here, and we're here together. And Susan St. James is here. Here we go. As we listen to Gino and Macho Man, it's going to be Kathy Lee Crosby is also in the house. Talk about pageantry. The first handful of WrestleManias, there was nothing like it. The first 7 or 8, the first 10. And I believe what we do have here, and we'll fast forward through because I try to keep it down. Rosemont Horizon, all the luminaries. Chet Kopic is the ring announcer there in Horizon in Chicago. How many of you have heard of Chet Kopic? Why don't you duck go that? So it is a ladies' match. It is a female match. It is a women's match. Let's see what the preliminaries are, and we'll move on. It looks like, obviously, and I think I announced it earlier in part 1, it's Velvet McIntyre going up against the Worldwide Wrestling Federation ladies champion who had it for some 13, 20 years, whatever it is, the fabulous Moolah. Columbia, South Carolina. A lot of things about Moolah. Go out and see her biography in Dark Side. A true legend in the business, no matter what the accusations or what people want to say. And I don't know if it's ever been proven. The fabulous Moolah, the ladies champion. Had a chance to hang out with her and Mae Young on more than one occasion. We even went out for dinner together. Chaos, Moolah, and Mae Young. Let that marinate for your imagination. And Moolah obviously goes over on Velvet here. Okay, so I just wanted to say the different things and show all the matchups in its entirety. We're 43 minutes in here. We'll still continue to go. But I'm going to fast forward through this. And you can, in the meantime, leave a comment. Say something. Drop an elbow on that like. Inbox me. Navigate the page. But don't go anywhere because this is the live premiere of WrestleMania 2. Stand by. Let's see if we can go forward here. Again, legendary Hall of Famer, fabulous Moolah. Velvet McIntyre for the era was unbelievable herself. An unbelievable qualified athlete. That is for damn sure. So as we, yes, shine the head for me. Can somebody spit shine that? And we'll move forward through this match. I gotta believe. Again, I haven't watched. You see how old these tapes are, right? These go back to the original era of 87, 88, 89, all that. These are the originals on the original soundboard. So that's what you get here, just to show you. So I'd like to give everybody their flowers, so to speak, to use that dumb term, and recognize everybody. And here we go now. We're still WrestleMania 2, live to tape watch long. I believe we still could be in the Rosemont Horizon. Don't quote me. And again, not only did I see this live, I've barely watched it since then, maybe a handful of times, but certainly not in the last decade, maybe 2 decades. So this is new just as much as it is for you as it is for me. Let's get back to the coverage here. And it's Nikolai Volkov. Listen, we're only 45 minutes in. I won't go much over an hour before we get to part 3 of WrestleMania 2. Say that 3 times fast. And there's the pencil neck geek himself who coined the phrase, Classy Freddie Blassie. And now everybody stand and rise, even in this day and age, how controversial they went with the storylines even back then. Nikolai Volkov sings the Russian national anthem. This isn't for you, Putin. But this is the days, and I'm not going to salute it. He's wearing the USSR red sweatshirt, and I don't know why he's giving the American singing the Russian national anthem. I mean, even back in the day, we might have switched over. Let me see, because I'm trying to give you all the insider and outsider here, because this is like a breakdown documentary live to tape. I believe we might have switched over to the Nassau Coliseum. Okay, and this is. Obviously, Classy Freddie Blassie, Nikolai Volkov, very underrated. That's just my opinion. And his opponent will be a short-lived guy in there, although the fans really liked him for the time of the gimmick and the Persian Gulf and so on and so forth, and what we were going through in the Middle East. We still are to this day. Corporal Kirshner, who I believe just recently, late 2023, early 2024, Corporal Kirshner has passed away. Now, Kirshner, legit Army Ranger, I believe, or in the military at least. Okay for what he did. Was pushed for the time more as a gimmick than a wrestler. I call out the good, the bad, and the ugly, no matter what era, no matter what time, no matter what classic. I call it out. That's what you get here is honesty, candor, an insider's look. Someone who is in the fucking business, inside and out, a fan and a talent, and involved in office procedures. So how many people have worn those different hats that you can learn from the learning tree? Yes, I said learn from the learning tree. All my personal stories, road stories, the way I see things, not always right. I'm not any better or more right than anybody else that does this shit. I'm giving you my view of someone who lived it. Nikolai Volkov, Corporal Kirshner. Again, I didn't think much of Kirshner. I respect everybody that gets in there. The gimmick was short-lived for its time. Here he is against Nikolai Volkov, the legend. Unbelievable the career Volkov had, and of course with the Hall of Famer, Classy Freddie Blassie. Does it get much better than that? Because I don't think that it does. Let's see what we have here. Volkov, Corporal Kirshner, live to tape watch along here with the G.O.C. We'll see if we can fast forward through this a little bit. And what I understand and remember from this, Corporal Kirshner did go over on Nikolai Volkov. So let's remember that. Let's get to the crux of the bout. That would be the best thing, in my opinion. As we go through, we get onto the bigger bouts and the history of what WrestleMania 2 was all about, leading in to WrestleMania 40. Kirshner, Volkov going back and forth. This match has been short-lived, but very back and forth by both men. Big rights to the pond zone, to the breadbasket. Kirshner pulls back a right, knocks out the elbow, knocks out the referee, another fucking ref bump. Volkov reverses it during the corner, changing rights and lefts to the midsection, to the shoulders. Blassie goes to throw the cane at Volkov. Kirshner intercepts. Bang! Down goes Volkov after getting hit with the cane. 1, 2, 3, that's it! Kirshner hit the bell. Corporal Kirshner goes over on Nikolai. Just to catch the ending right there. Blassie, how do you pencil neck geek fuck up on that? How did that happen? The legend, Fred Blassie, one of the guys that influenced me the most, one of the most incredible managers that I always talk about as far as the best that ever did it. He goes to throw that cane, and Kirshner jumped on it like a frog would jump on a lily pad. Bang! Across the dome piece of Volkov. Down goes the big Ruski. And 1, 2, 3, and he gets the right to carry the American flag. We're in this fucking country. That's the only flag that should be carried. Corporal Kirshner with the victory at WrestleMania 2. It doesn't get much better than that, fans. As we move along here on the live to tape watch, again, the head, Al Snow said, nobody answered me in the chat yesterday. Not even you, OTS Tribal Queen. What does everybody want? Head. Al Snow with the head. Don't you get it? I gotta teach you guys everything. Hey, well, no offense, man. Lighten up, man. Kayfabe. The Carney. Because this isn't that. Don't let me get crazy. All right? I don't want to get too crazy. We go to the next bout. Mean Gene Okerlund is in the ring as only he can do it. Talking to, there's the beef lady. Remember, Dick Butkus is your special guest referee. So we have the NFL against the WWF superstars. There's the legend from the Cowboys, Ed Too Tall Jones, and Dick Butkus from the Chicago Bears. Okerlund's going to announce the participants as I wrap around the chain for this 20-man over-the-top battle royal, NFL versus WWF superstars. And the lady from Wendy's, they had to call her like the meat lady instead of, where's the beef? Here we go, leading down the NFL players from the Chicago Bears, Jimbo Covert, who I met back in the late 80s, middle 80s it might have been, at the Walter Camp special where I was working the doorman at Daniels, unbelievable discotheque, legendary here in the Northeast, when they all came through from Jimbo Covert and met my boy, Dan Marino. And here comes the Latin sensation, Pedro Morales, representing the WWF superstars. And here comes Mr. USA, Tony Atlas. These are our combatants. These are our participants. And here comes the 705-pound bench presser. At one time, the strongest in the world with the bench press. Trained with Mario and by Mario Mancini, Ted Arcidi. Next, we have from the Dallas Cowboys, again, another Hall of Famer and legend, Harvey Martin is in the Battle Royal. And of course, you know his partner along the defensive line is one of the referees, Too Tall Jones. And here comes one legit badass and played ball and college ball at Georgia. Knocked out many of people. Quiet guy, nice guy, but if you fucked with him, you barked up the wrong tree. Dangerous Danny Spivey. And here comes another big dude. Don't go messing with a country boy, a country boy, a country boy. Don't go messing with a country boy. Don't mess with a country boy. Hillbilly Jim. Talk about stepping in shit and being in the right place at the right time. He kind of had quite the career, Hillbilly. And here comes the baddest man on the planet. Haku, Ming, the Islander, King Tonga, whatever you want to call him. For this purposes here in WrestleMania 2, he was King Tonga. Meng, who I just met this past year at New England Fan Fest 7 at the New England Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame Class of 2023 induction ceremonies. What a great guy. What a big guy. He even grabbed me by the throat. I loved it. Pure gentleman, pure class, and the baddest man on the planet. And here comes my old buddy from Jerry Springer, the Iron Sheik, the former champion. Rest in peace, Sheik. Pittsburgh Steeler Hall of Famer and great Ernie Holmes is now coming down the aisle. And this is going to be hard to call this. I'm just going to try to call the people that get thrown out or who wins. And here comes B. Brian Blair and Jumpin' Jim Brunzell, as I said yesterday, with these silly Saturday morning cartoon gimmicks. And I call it out, the Killer Bees. But this lets me do this from the old Saturday Night Live days. A buzz buzz. A buzz buzz. John Belushi, Dan Aykroyd. Flashback. We go forward and go back. A buzz buzz. A buzz buzz. And if you remember this man from the Marlboro Man movie, Big John Studd. That's right. One of the original Executioners with Pat O'Connor and Killer Kowalski. That's right. The Executioners. Big John Studd. And what was it called? Don Johnson movie. The Marlboro Man, something in the Marlboro. And here comes the All-Pro, Hall of Famer from the Atlanta Falcons, and another tough guy, Bill Fralick. Talk about All-Pros and Hall of Famers. What was the name of that movie? Something in the Marlboro Man, where Big John Studd played a great part. Harley Davidson in the Marlboro Man. How the fuck can I forget that? I told you. My mind's like a lazy Susan. It'll come back around, man. Harley Davidson in the Marlboro Man. Big John Studd had played a great part in that movie. Don Johnson was in it, of course. I already said that. Mickey Rourke, good movie, classic. And here comes the Hart Foundation, the Anvil and Bret the Hitman Hart. You know my history with both those men on a brief basis. Able to work together, perform together. Unbelievable, the Hart Foundation. The ring is filling up. And here comes former grappler. His father was a legend and ran the Hawaii Territories. Big time 50th State Wrestling. Here's Ed Francis's son, Russ Francis, who played for the San Francisco 49ers and New England Patriots. Russ Francis, he also wrestled. And don't forget, his father was a legend. And if you remember correctly, here in WrestleMania 2, here comes the living legend at the time, the best pro wrestler in my mind in the world, my favorite, definitely on a Mount Rushmore. A lot of people can argue other people, especially Ric Flair, Harley Race, the Briscoes, so on and so forth. Bruno is uno, the living legend, Bruno Sammartino. It's in this fucking battle royal. I got goosebumps. And here comes the man at the time that in the NFL, the Fridge, William, the Refrigerator Perry from the championship Chicago Bears. The mass humanity in the ring right now with 20 men from the NFL and the WWF. Everyone from Bruno Sammartino to Pedro Morales to Big John Studd, Bill Fralick, Russ Francis. Holy cramoly. Dangerous Danny Spivey. And here comes the final participant. Is this a battle royal of all time, historically, names? The eighth wonder of the world, Andre the Giant, is coming to the ring. Fans, I got goosebumps. I could show you like The Rock does when he comes back now in the battle for whatever's going on in the WWE for the Tribal Chief, Cody's finishing story ahead of the table, whatever the fuck it is. Wow. What a gathering of athletes. Not to mention the special guest referees are Too Tall Jones and Dick Bucket. Here we go. Holy crap. I can't try to call all of them. I'm going to pick out points and highlight them. Pedro Morales, Ernie Holmes trying to get the Fridge. In the corner, I see Big John Studd and Andre the Giant. In the opposite side, they got Jim the Anvil Neidhart, Jimbo Covert tying up. Tony Atlas, Hillbilly Jim, Bret the Hitman Hart. Andre by himself in the corner. Dangerous Danny Spivey. They're all piling up on Refrigerator Perry, but there's Jimbo Covert to help him out. And Haku's taking over on Covert. The all-pro lineman from the Chicago Bears. Bill Fralick trying to get B. Brian Blair. A lot of action, fans. I'm going to keep it calm. I see Harvey Martin trying to take on Dan Spivey. Big John Studd has Harvey Martin now. Andre has the Hart Foundation in the far corner. Who's going over first? The first one out is Jimbo Covert and King Tonga, a.k.a. Haku. It looks like Bill Fralick threw out one of his fellow NFL guys, Jimbo Covert. King Tonga Haku is one of the first ones out. I don't remember this. Holy shit. King Tonga Haku, Meng, whatever you want to call him, is out. Along with Jimbo Covert, a Hall of Famer. Imagine those being the first two out in any fucking battle royal in any era. Wow. Atlas locking up with the Refrigerator. Big John Studd is in the mix. Ernie Holmes trying to tie up Bruno Sammartino, both men from Pittsburgh. How about that for useless tidbits and priceless facts of information? Bruno Sammartino's dumping out Ernie Holmes. The man from Pittsburgh has dumped out the Hall of Famer, the Steelers championship team, Ernie Holmes. Good job, Bruno. Talk about heat in Pittsburgh. Danny Spivey pounding away on the Iron Sheik. And the Giant and Studd are at it again in the corner. Slugging it out. On the opposite side, I see Fralick, Hillbilly Jim. In the corner. The Anvil's getting hammered down by Big Harvey Martin, laying into forearm shivers to the Anvil. Spivey looking and lurking and trying to pick out an opponent. Andre's got Bill Fralick. Andre's going to try to throw Bill Fralick out. Ted Arcidi's tied up with Hillbilly Jim. Harvey Martin comes over and jumps Andre from behind. Bruno with a boot to the midsection. Who's Bruno jumping there? Jim Brunzell has been tossed. Jim Brunzell, a buzz. A buzz. Jim Brunzell is persona non grata. Here we go. Bret Hart tying up with Dan Spivey. Hart Foundation taking over 2-on-1. Bruno looking for somebody in the ring. Fridge and Tony Atlas in the corner. And the Fridge dumps out Mr. USA, Tony Atlas, like he was a child. The Fridge picked him up, threw him over the top rope, and Mr. USA is persona non grata. Now it's Big John Studd and Fridge in the corner. Fralick and Harvey Martin taking over on Andre the Giant. Pedro Morales is trying to help Andre out. Hillbilly Jim by himself. Dan Spivey by himself. B. Brian Blair has Iron Sheik up. Hart and Neidhart have one of the NFL players in the corner. I can't see from this vantage point. Bruno tying up Harvey Martin. Bruno going after the NFL players. Big John hammering away on the fridge, big forearms, knocking down the refrigerator stud and beating him down in the corner. Andre just watching as Stud is pounding on the refrigerator. Bruno with a boot to the midsection of Bret Hart. And there goes Pedro Morales and Harvey Martin. Wait, they both went over together. The Latin sensation. The former heavyweight champion, Pedro Morales, has been eliminated, as has Super Bowl champion and Hall of Famer Harvey Martin. Oh, B. Brian Blair, what's going to happen? Hillbilly Jim has him up. Dan Spivey has him up. Bruno's trying to break it up. He snuck back in. That sneaky little B, huh? A buzz. A buzz. Wait, over the top rope. There goes the big man, the 705-pound bench presser. Ted Arcidi has been eliminated. Hillbilly Jim has B. Brian Blair. The Sheik squares off against Spivey. Stud and Andre in the corner. Russ Francis is tied up with Bret Hart. Freilich in the fridge in the corner. Danny Spivey has been eliminated by the Iron Sheik. Danny Spivey, the badass, is out. There goes Iron Sheik eliminates Hillbilly Jim and B. Brian Blair. The Iron Sheik has just eliminated 3 grapplers. Bruno squaring off against Bret Hart. Freilich taking over on Bret Hart now. Fridge and the Anvil in the corner. Russ Francis on Andre the Giant. Stud going after Bruno. He backs off. Stud now has Freilich. Stud and the Iron Sheik have Bill Freilich. And out goes Freilich, persona non grata. Now that's the 4th grappler Sheik has thrown out or been a part of helping to throw out. Now it's the Sheik and Bruno going at it. And there goes the Sheik over the top rope. Bruno with the back body drop and tosses the Iron Sheik. Now it's Bruno and Big John Stud. Russ Francis with the shoulder blocks on Andre in the corner. The Hart Foundation taking it to the refrigerator. It's chaos. It's pandemonium. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's like 7 left out of a 20-man battle royal. Russ Francis, Andre the Giant, Bruno Sammartino, Big John Stud, the Hart Foundation, the refrigerator, referees. Wait, and there goes Bruno. Big John Stud has thrown the living legend over the top rope by himself. Bruno, I'm sorry to say, ciao bella, persona non grata for the best professional wrestling world heavyweight champion in the history of this fucking business and industry. There's a few arguments out there. I'm just telling you my opinion. The Anvil. Fridge now with John Stead. They're going to get down into the football stance. Andre's down in the corner. Fridge with the big shoulder block. And back goes Stud. Bret Hart taking over on Russ Francis. Andre is still down. Another shoulder block. And a big back elbow by John Studd. And then a hip toss over the top rope. There goes the refrigerator. Persona non grata refrigerator Barry. Big John Studd with the back elbow. The hip toss. See you later. How about that? And now they're going to shake hands. And the Fridge pulls him over the top rope. How is that fair? How is that an elimination? It doesn't matter. It shouldn't happen. I said it back then. I'm going to say it now. What the fuck? The Fridge had already been eliminated, thrown over the top rope, and he's allowed to go over there and shake his hand and while Stud's still in there and pull him over the top rope, and that counts as an elimination? Bullshit. And I call it out no matter what era it is. Now it's the Hart Foundation. Russ Francis, Andre the Giant. That's your final 4. So it's basically not every man for himself because the Anvil and the Hitman are going to team up together. Hart taking over on Andre. Double drop kick by Hart and Neidhart, and Andre is down, tied up in the ropes. Russ Francis trying to escape the Hart Foundation now. Russ Francis, New England Patriots, San Francisco 49ers. A true great, maybe even a Hall of Famer. I'm not sure. Somebody correct me. Leave a note. Leave a comment. Russ Francis doing his own. Holding his own against the Hart Foundation, but no match. And there he goes. Dumped out like yesterday's garbage. The Hitman and the Anvil toss Russ Francis over the top rope. And it's down to 3. Andre the Giant, Bret the Hitman Hart, and Jim the Anvil Neidhart. It's the Hart Foundation against the Giant. What chance do they stand? I know they're one of the greatest. They're Hall of Famers, tag team champions. And Anvil with the big slingshot shoulder block from the Hitman into the proboscis, into the pod zone of Andre the Giant. Now the Listen, if you're looking straight at the screen like I am, they're in the left part of the turnbuckle. They're trying to lift up the 500-pounder. It's not going to happen. Again, reversal, slingshot, Bret Hart into the big boot of Andre. Hart is down. Now Andre grabs an anvil by the short hairs. Big right to the proboscis, to the chin. Bang! Double knocker. And they're on Queer Street. They're on their heels. They're down and out. Anvil and Hart are in big trouble. Andre grabs the anvil. Far side. The big boo. Anvil over the top rope, and he's eliminated. The Anvil's persona non grata. Bret Hart to the top rope. What the fuck you doing? The high rent district? No! Andre picks him up, presses him, walks him around the ring, and then throws the hitman on top of the anvil, and he's eliminated. Bret Hart is persona non grata. And there he is, in the yellow trunks, the yellow boots, the winner of the NFL World Wrestling Federation Superstars Battle Royal, the 8th wonder of the world. Was there ever any fucking doubt? Andre the Giant. Wow. Now that was a Battle Royal of all time. We're an hour and 5 minutes. We're going to get the results. We're going to pause this. Andre the Giant. It's official. And I believe that's my old buddy, Frank Krasnowski. No, it's not. It's not you, Frank. Sorry, Frank, because I know you're watching. WWF ring announcer all throughout the Northeast, a true legend, the Hall of Famer, Frank Krasnowski. It was not him. The winner of the Battle Royal, Andre the Giant. Fans, we're an hour and 6 minutes in. This is the second part. We're going to part 3 of WrestleMania 2, live to tape watch along from Chaos Corner. Don't go anywhere as we have Susan St. James, Vincent Kennedy McMahon Jr., and the rowdy one, Roddy Piper, after his boxing match with Mr. T, sitting in the lounge like we are here at Chaos Corner. Come on back. I'll say that to say this. Don't you dare miss it.